Welcome to reviewingthis.com. Today we are taking a look at Nespresso Vertuoline as well as the Senior Plus, which is used to froth your milk. Before we get started, I do want to mention I picked this up from Amazon for $161, even though on Nespresso's website they sell for $185. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money on this purchase, make sure to go through Amazon. I'll leave a link right here in case you're interested. To begin, let's start unboxing. So to begin, let's take a look at the box. So in the front, it does say that for a cup of coffee, you want to make sure that the mug can hold 7.7 ounces. And for an espresso, it must hold 1.4 ounces. The rest of the images here simply show the capsules that come with it to make the coffee, how to apply them, and the fact that it does come with a sample box of their coffee. If we turn to this side, we'll simply see more imagery as you can see, where the capsule is inserted, where the cup is placed. Same as the front. And here's a sample box that comes along with this purchase. If we turn this to the front, to the upside, it does show the capsules that come for coffee and the ones that come with espresso. So for a coffee, you do receive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 capsules for coffee, and then 4 for an espresso. So that's pretty nice that they do include a sample box along with it. Let's get it open now. Here is the sample box of the coffee. And there is an espresso machine. Let's get the wrapping off it. So right off the bat, you can tell that it does come assembled, so you do not have to screw anything on, you don't have to put anything together. Here it is. It's very nice looking. This is in matte black color. As you saw, the box is relatively large. The coffee machine itself is not really that huge as you'd expect from such a box. On the left hand side, that's basically where the water goes, and on the right hand side, that is where the machine will dispose of the capsules that are being used. So here's the box. It's quite nice. Here are all the different flavors, a description of the flavor, how strong they are, and also which ones are for espresso and which one are for coffee. So it's been 3 weeks since I showed you guys the unboxing part. I've had a real good opportunity to use an espresso machine. I better understand it, and hopefully now I can kind of basically show you how to make a good cup of coffee with the espresso machine. Now before we get started, I do want to mention, over this 2 or 3 weeks, I did end up picking up this collection box that they sell on Nespresso.com. I'll leave the link in the description for that. Basically, it's a really good deal because it comes with 180 capsules, as well as this display case and these 2 glasses. This one right here is perfect for a cup of coffee, and this one for an espresso. And they're both properly measured to work with this machine. For the display case, as you can see, you're able to basically have 3 different flavors on the case on the same time. And here's just some of the capsules that came. I do have quite a few more sitting in the cabinets. These are just 4 of the boxes. If you guys are interested in seeing how the coffee typically arrives, they do arrive in this package. and they're basically like this, right? So you'd have 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, and to use it in a display case, you simply slide it in and we're good to go. For the glasses, they are made out of actual glass. They look good. They do have an Nespresso logo on it. You do have this piece right here, which the cup sits on top of, and then these two nice spoons that go along with them, which is great, obviously, for mixing your espresso or your coffee. And they also have a label of espresso on them. Now, to get started, I do have the machine plugged in. Now, keep in mind, if you do not use the machine for 5 minutes, it will turn off on its own, even if it's plugged in. So if you always have it plugged in, you must always come to the machine and simply touch the button on top. When doing so, it will first blink a few times, and when it has a solid color, that means it's ready to go, which is almost now. There we go. So we have a solid color on top. First thing to do, we have to remove the water tank on the right hand side of the machine. And let's clear this up. I'm going to put some fresh water in it. Now, they do recommend replacing the water in the tank once a day. I typically do it after every cup that I have. I have 2 cups a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, so it makes more sense for me to simply replace it twice a day. On the other side, we have where the capsules get disposed of. They sit here. I do want to mention that I did receive a call from Nespresso a few days ago in regards to my experience with the machine, and they ended up sending me 2 recycling bags for their capsules, and they basically pay for the postage. I should receive a bag. I basically dispose of the capsules into the bag and send them back. There's really nothing to gain from it except for, I guess, trying to be a bit more nature savvy, or I'm not sure how to say it. So anyhow, let's begin by inserting a capsule here. So we'll have to turn this to the right, or at least my right. Oops, actually, other way. There we go, now it's open. So we'll take one of these capsules, and I do want to mention that the cool thing about these capsules is on the outer rim, you do have a barcode. The machine uses this barcode to validate whether or not this is an actual Nespresso capsule. So we have to place this face down with the dome facing down, and we simply close it on top. There is an obvious audible sound when that happens, as you can see, and then we simply lock it, turning it to my right, and that's it. That's all it takes. Now, before we get the machine working, I do want to first froth the milk. To explain a little bit about how the milk frother works, you do receive 2 whisks. There's one that is attached to the lid magnetically, like that, and there's one that's attached inside for use. So you do receive both of them. Now this one, this whisk right here, the springs, this one is actually used to froth your milk, cold or warm. This one, on the other hand, is exclusively used only for whisking hot milk. So if you want to make a hot cup of coffee and you do not care for frothing your milk, and you simply want to make your milk warm or hot, you would simply use this plain whisk. Along with that, you do have 2 indicators on the inside of the frother. There's an indicator that is lower than the other. The lower one basically tells you that if you use the actual whisk that's meant to froth your milk, you do not want to exceed that indicator. Then there's one much higher above, and that one is for the plain one, simply for warming up your milk. So in my case, I do want to froth my milk just a little bit, so I'm going to use this whisk. I'm going to put it inside. It attaches magnetically. I'll put this other one back onto the lid, and let's get the milk inside. Now, there are online tutorials on the best way to froth your milk, the type of milk that works best. I don't care too much for it. I don't really care if my milk is how frothed it is. I really do only use this machine, honestly, to warm up my milk. So I'm going to pour it in and make sure I pay attention to the indicator. Okay. Now we simply put the lid on top. Now, on the frother itself, there's an image that basically shows that if you are using hot milk, or you want to end up with hot milk, you simply click on the button. Press on the button, that's it. If you're looking to actually cool down the milk and make cool froth milk, you have to hold the button down for 2 seconds. In our case, we'll simply press on the button to begin the process, and you will see it illuminate in red. There you go. If we held it for 2 more seconds, it would have actually illuminated in blue, letting you know that you're using the cooling option. So this is not going to take too long. In the meantime, what we will be doing is, now everybody makes their coffee differently. This is the way I do mine. I love how it ends up being, so I'm just going to show you how I make my own cup of coffee. Now, I will actually first add in sugar. I do have this classic syrup from Starbucks. I love it. I use this instead of using actual powdered sugar. So we'll add 2 tablespoons of this into the glass first. That's 1. And that's the second one. The milk is done. So now I'll actually pour the milk in first. I know most people end up pouring the milk in last. In my case, again, I prefer to simply pour it in first, which is what I'll do. And let's get the milk in. Alright, so we have the sugar and we have the milk in. The last step now, obviously, is to actually brew our coffee. Now, one thing I do want to point out with this piece right here, in which you place your cup on, if you leave it on the bottom, it's meant for an actual cup of coffee. If you raise it, you can actually raise it and have it stay a little higher, which would be used for an espresso. Again, it's perfect. So that's pretty nice. In our case, we'll bring it right back down for a cup of coffee. And we will place our cup here. Last step, the last thing to do is click the button on top, and we're good to go. It takes about a minute or so for it to fill up, and based on the measurements that I used for the milk and for the syrup, it should actually come right all the way up to the top, as you will see. So we'll just wait a little bit, and I will actually let you enjoy looking at the process. So the machine finished, just like I said, it finished right at the top. There's no spill whatsoever. Let's get the cup removed. Now, a big part about an espresso machine and their coffee is that they produce a very nice amount of crema, as you can see. At this point, probably I have to even say 1/5, if not even 1/4 of the cup is actually crema. It looks good, right? So that's a big part of why I love this machine. It produces a great looking cup of coffee, and it tastes great. Now, one thing I want to point out, I noticed this online, people are complaining that the machine itself does not make scalding hot coffee, and that's the case, right? So if you're grabbing a hot cup of coffee from Dunkin', from McDonald's, you know that you can't drink it for the next 10 minutes or so. With this one over here, if I actually bring it up to my lips right now, I can take a sip right off the bat. So I just realized that the camera actually stopped recording when I was going over the cleaning process, so I'm going to go over it once again. Now, just to recap with the temperature of the coffee, it's not scalding hot. You do want to drink within 10 minutes, otherwise you may have to microwave the cup of coffee. I do find after 10 minutes it does get relatively cold. I'm guessing you put it inside a thermos, it would stay much hotter, especially if the lid is on top. So that might be a drawback for those of you that love to milk your coffee, sit on the couch, maybe drink it over 20-25 minutes. That's not really going to be the case with the temperature of the coffee coming out of the espresso machine. Now, in regards to the cleaning process, I have yet to do the cleaning process with this machine, but I will still explain how it works. To begin, you must first place a container here that can hold 12.5 ounces of water. From there, you're simply going to refill this water tank. Once you have a steady light above, once it's plugged in, you will simply make sure to click this button 3 times within a 2-second period. What's going to happen during that time is that there will be 3 cycles of water being pumped through the system into the container you have over here, and that takes about 3 minutes altogether. I haven't done the cleaning process, as I said. You may want to do it when you first get the machine. Now, I will say this, on the first day that I made myself a cup of coffee, the very first cup, I did notice that the crema came out quite weird. It wasn't the same way it is right now, where if I move the cup, I could see it moving along with the flow. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was very airy, right? So if you blow into it, basically, say you blow into the crema, it would kind of like separate and stay separated apart. Or if you put a spoon through it, it would create this, an actual indent into it, which isn't the case now. If I put a spoon through the crema and I pick it back up, yeah, there might be an indentation, but it kind of smooths closer back together again. But after that cup, it was much better. So maybe it's worth doing the cleaning process right when you get the machine at first, to make sure that it's good to go. But I've so far had, a cup of coffee is pretty good, and I haven't yet done the cleaning process. Altogether, am I happy with the machine? Yes, I am. I've had a few machines before, and honestly, this one wins in terms of looks, functionality, ease of use, and the quality of the coffee. Altogether, I think Nespresso did a fantastic job of putting together all these different trinkets and accessories to go along with it. It looks good, and they all work very well. Could they have made coffee a bit hotter? They could have definitely done that. So it comes down to personal preference. If you're looking for that scalding hot cup of coffee, this machine isn't for you. For everybody else, I think this machine is possibly the best one on the market. As a closing statement, I will leave a link to the machine on Amazon, because you can pick up this machine on Amazon for $20 cheaper than on Nespresso's website themselves. But after that, I do recommend heading over to their website and picking up the welcome offer, because at that point you're paying $1 per capsule. You get the silverware, and you end up getting the display case. That's a really good offer alone. So pick up the machine from Amazon and pick up the capsules that on Nespresso's website. And hopefully you found my review helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll make sure to answer them. And if you could please hit that like button and subscribe, I really appreciate that as well. Thank you and have a great day.